Have you ever wondered what true courage looks like? Is it about grand gestures in the face of danger, or is it something deeper, quieter, and more profound? What if the greatest form of courage isn't about dying for a cause, but living for one every single day? Welcome to the Heart of Catholicism YouTube channel, the Catholic path to peace, where God's faith changes our lives. Today, we explore the powerful stories of Christian witnesses, figures often known as martyrs. But we're going to look beyond the stories of suffering to discover a more inspiring truth. The word martyr comes from the Greek word *martys*, which simply means witness. It was never originally about death. It was about life, a life with such profound conviction and love that it became a testament to faith itself. True witnessing isn't about seeking conflict or embracing death. It's about living truthfully, courageously, and with a compassion that shines a light in the world. This is the heart of our journey today, to understand faith not as a battle, but as an act of love and action. We are about to hear stories that reveal the beautiful strength of conviction and moral courage, stories that will inspire admiration and curiosity, encouraging us to discover what it truly means to be a witness of faith in our modern world. Our journey begins in the earliest days of Christianity, with the foundational figures who first modeled this incredible faith-driven courage. Consider Saint Stephen, often called the first martyr. While his story ends in tragedy, his true legacy is not his death, but his life of service and his final act of forgiveness, echoing Christ's own words. We also look to St. Peter and St. Paul, giants of the early church. Instead of focusing on their hardships, let's spotlight their roles as spiritual leaders and mentors. Peter, the rock upon which the church was built, learned to transform his own fear into unwavering faith. Paul, once a persecutor, became the faith's greatest missionary, traveling tirelessly to build communities bound by love and mutual support. These early Christians didn't just endure hardship, they transformed it. They created vibrant communities of support where faith was expressed through music, art, and charity. Their strength was not found in defiance, but in their profound empathy and their unshakable sense of unity. They show us that being a witness is about building, not breaking, about loving, not hating. In their stories, we see not victims, but models of inner peace and resilience, connecting the faith of history with the emotional intelligence we strive for today. As we move forward into the medieval and Renaissance periods, the meaning of witness evolved. It became a powerful expression of moral integrity, often in defiance of corrupt or unjust authority. Two figures stand out as beacons of conscience: St. Thomas More and St. Joan of Arc. Thomas More, a brilliant lawyer and Chancellor of England, faced an impossible choice: to endorse a king's will against his conscience or to remain faithful to God. He chose his conscience. His witness was not one of loud protest, but of quiet, unshakable integrity. His courage was in his refusal to compromise his soul for political power, a testament to the idea that faith can guide ethical leadership. Similarly, Joan of Arc, a young peasant girl, was guided by her faith to lead a nation. Her story is one of incredible conviction and moral clarity. She upheld what she believed to be true and just, even when facing the highest authorities in both church and state. Their stories are not just Catholic stories. They speak to universal values of honesty, conscience, and justice that resonate across all cultures and beliefs. The examples of Thomas More and Joan of Arc profoundly shaped Western ideas about ethics, law, and individual responsibility. They inspire in us a respect for the moral strength to simply do what is right, encouraging us to live with that same conviction in our own daily lives. In the modern era, the concept of witnessing faith has continued to transform, finding its most powerful expression in acts of compassion and service to humanity. Consider the lives of St. Maximilian Kolbe and St. Oscar Romero. These men are not just remembered for how they died, but for how they lived with a love that knew no bounds. Maximilian Kolbe was a Polish priest who, long before his ultimate sacrifice in Auschwitz, was a pioneer of media and a missionary who built communities of faith. His life was one of constant creative service. We choose to focus not on the darkness of his final days, but on the light of his life's work. St. Oscar Romero, the Archbishop of San Salvador, became the voice for the voiceless. He used his platform not to incite division, but to advocate for peace, justice, and the dignity of every human being. He spoke truth to power, but his true witness was his unwavering solidarity with the poor and the oppressed. Their lives show us that the modern expression of faith is lived out in schools and hospitals and shelters and in the public square. Their work finds echoes in the efforts of interfaith peace builders and secular human rights defenders around the world who share the same commitment to human dignity. Their stories fill us with a sense of optimism, showing how faith continues to evolve into powerful acts of kindness, social justice, and radical empathy. They teach us that being a witness today means living a life of compassion and service, one small act at a time. This brings us to the deeper spiritual meaning of martyrdom. It is time to completely reframe this concept, moving away from the idea of a death for faith and toward the beautiful reality of a life through faith. In its truest sense, spiritual martyrdom means living with courage every day. It is the act of forgiving someone who has wronged you, even when it's difficult. It is practicing love and patience in moments of adversity when it would be easier to give in to anger or despair. It's the daily choice to live with hope, even when the world feels dark. This is the witness our world needs. Faith, in this context, becomes a source of profound psychological and spiritual resilience. It builds within us an inner strength that allows us to face life's challenges not with fear or aggression, but with a deep and abiding peace. This is the faith that unites humanity rather than dividing it. When we live our faith as an act of love, it becomes a bridge between people, between cultures, and between beliefs. This understanding helps us internalize our faith not as a set of rules, but as a source of inner power, a force for unity, and a testament to the love that connects us all. The legacy of these great witnesses of faith is not confined to history books or theological text. It is alive and vibrant, woven into the very fabric of our culture through art, music, and literature. For centuries, artists have been captivated by these stories, but they have so often focused on portraying not suffering, but light, courage, and hope. Think of the serene expression on the face of a sculpted saint, the soaring arches of a cathedral built in honor of a local witness, or the powerful music composed to celebrate their lives. These works of art are not memorials to death. They are celebrations of a life lived with purpose. Filmmakers and writers continue to tell these stories, reinterpreting them for new generations and highlighting their universal themes. The moral and spiritual courage demonstrated by these figures has transcended religion, inspiring movements for peace, justice, and compassion worldwide. This is the great enduring legacy of the witnesses of faith. It lives on in every act of humanitarian aid, in every movement for social justice, and in every piece of art that inspires us to be better. It is a legacy that everyone, regardless of their personal beliefs, can admire and draw strength from. So, as we conclude our journey, we are left with a powerful invitation. We have seen that faith is not just about belief. It is about living truthfully, loving deeply, and acting ethically. The stories of the great witnesses, from Stephen and Peter to Thomas More and Oscar Romero, all point to this one beautiful truth. Their lives challenge us to ask a deeply personal question. What does it mean for me to be a witness of faith in my own life? You don't have to change the world to be a witness. You can start with simple, everyday actions. It can be found in the courage to forgive a family member, the compassion to help a neighbor in need, or the integrity to speak the truth in a difficult situation. It is in creating small moments of peace in a world that is often filled with noise and conflict. This is how we translate ancient courage into modern kindness. This is how we become witnesses in our own time. Thank you for joining us on the Heart of Catholicism. If these stories of courage and hope have moved you, we invite you to continue the conversation. Please leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on what it means to be a modern witness. Don't forget to share this video with someone who might find it inspiring, and subscribe for more stories of faith, inspiration, and our shared humanity.